Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're looking at something called the Equitable Partnerships Accountability Toolkit, or EPAT for short. It's a resource that's really trying to shake things up and change how organizations in the humanitarian world actually work together. You know, for years, decades even, the humanitarian sector has been talking about shifting power and creating more balanced collaborations. But let's be real, right? The talk hasn't always translated into action. The reality on the ground has been pretty slow to change, and we often see the same old patterns pop up again and again. And that's the big question, isn't it? How do you actually get from just talking about these big systemic issues to making real, tangible changes in how people and organizations collaborate on a daily basis? Okay, so before we jump into the toolkit itself, we gotta understand the problem it's trying to solve. Let's dig into why so many partnerships in this sector are basically screaming for a reset. So the aid sector has a history, right? And with that history come these really entrenched power imbalances. You have funding, influence, and all this can lead to a situation where decisions get made by just one side. And what happens then? Well, the incredible on-the-ground expertise of local partners, the people with actual lived experience, it often gets undervalued or worse, ignored. The whole relationship can become just transactional. It's about checking boxes and hitting deliverables, not really transforming anything.
All right, so what's the fix? Well, that's where the EPAT comes in, the Equitable Partnerships Accountability Toolkit.
Now, what's really important to get here is that EPAT is not some rigid, one-size-fits-all rulebook. It's not just another checklist to tick off. Think of it more like a toolbox. It's full of practical, adaptable tools that are designed to meet a partnership right where it is, and then help it figure out how to get better. And this is the really cool part. This toolkit wasn't just cooked up in some office somewhere. No way. It was co-developed over a year with a whole bunch of people. Folks from big international NGOs, from local organizations, from refugee-led groups. This means it's built on real-world experience. It's practical, not just theoretical. Okay, so what's actually in this thing? Let's do a quick tour of the 4 main tools you'll find inside EPAT. First, you've got the 360 React. Think of this as the deep dive. It's the big, comprehensive tool for partnerships that are really ready to take a hard 360-degree look at how they work together. It helps you ask the tough questions and come up with a real action plan together. But maybe you're just starting out on this journey. That's where the Light React Starter comes in. It's a much simpler way to get going. It helps you kick off those important conversations without it feeling like this huge, overwhelming task. Now, equity isn't a one-and-done thing, right? It's an ongoing process. That's why there's the Light React Periodic Check-In. This is a tool you can use regularly, maybe every 6 months or so, to see how you're doing, track your progress, and just make sure you're always adapting and improving. And the toolkit is still evolving, which is awesome. They've recognized that the relationship between donors and grantees has its own unique power dynamics. So there's a specialized tool, the Donor-Grantee React, that's being tested right now to tackle that specific challenge. So you see, the big takeaway here is that there are different ways into this. No matter where your partnership is at, whether you're just starting to think about this stuff or you've been working on it for years, there's a tool in here that can help you take that next step. All right, so no matter which of those tools you pick up, they're all built on the same foundation. And that foundation is made up of 5 core elements that define what a truly equitable partnership actually looks like. And these aren't just buzzwords, okay? This is the vision. This is what it really looks and feels like when a partnership is working well. So let's break them down one by one. Number 1, shared understanding. This is all about getting past assumptions. It means really committing to understanding where your partners are coming from, talking openly about power imbalances, and, most importantly, putting the knowledge of local experts front and center. Second, we have shared voice and ownership. This is huge. It means everyone gets an equal seat at the table. From designing the project, to making big decisions, to getting the credit when things go right, it's all shared. Element number 3 is trust and transparency. And this really is the bedrock of the whole thing. It means being open and honest about everything. We're talking budgets, roles, values, expectations. No secrets, no surprises. Fourth up is flexibility. Look, we all know that rigid, top-down plans just don't work when things are constantly changing. A real partnership has to be able to adapt. and that adaptation should be led by the people who are closest to the action. And finally, number 5, mutual accountability and learning. This is so important. Accountability here isn't a dirty word. It's not about one group policing another, it's a two-way street. It means everyone feels safe enough to hold each other to their promises, which builds trust and helps everyone get better at what they do. Okay, so we've walked through the problem, the solution in the toolkit, and the vision behind it all. So you're probably wondering, all right, what do I do now? Well, if you're ready to start putting equity into practice, the folks behind EPAT are ready for you. You can get in touch to download the toolkit, ask them questions, or even join the community of other organizations that are already using these tools to change the way they work. And really, here's the main thing to take away from all this. You don't have to fix everything overnight. Small, deliberate changes can start to shift those big old power dynamics. The journey to real equity starts with just one step. This toolkit is basically a map for that journey. So the real question is, what's your first step going to be?